This is Tecker 911, episode 67, MobileMe. I'm Jordan Berman.
And I'm Gdovin. And today we're going to talk about Apple's MobileMe service, which is what they claim to be exchange type services for the rest of us, which means you can get your contacts, your mail, your calendar, calendar synchronized between your computer and your iPhone/iPod Touch.
As well as it comes with 20 gigs of storage with 200 megabits of transfer space.
Okay, so I signed up for a trial account, basically for the purpose of this show and my blog.
It costs $99 for an individual for a year, and it's $149 for a family, which would be up to 4 users, and that's per year. So this is the web interface for MobileMe. It's just basically the landing ground for when you first log in.
But MobileMe is really not about it's partially about the web interface, but it's really about synchronizing between all your devices. And this is just an extra thing you can do because you can log in and use it. So it has an inbox, which is kind of nice. It's kind of empty because I don't use this at all. I signed it up basically for this kind of stuff. An address book, and the thing is, like if you get an email on your MobileMe mail account, which is at me.com by the way, which is kind of cool. What happens is it gets pushed or synchronized to all your devices. So your iPhone would get it, your Outlook would get it, and it would be available here. Synchronization is not. Oh, cool. Reed sent me an email. So you see that would supposedly be pushed to all my devices, but I don't have any devices hooked up with my MobileMe.
But the way this is done is basically rather than having to tether your mobile device to a computer, through the internet, it actually automatically updates it with your emails, the contacts, as well as like your calendar.
Yeah, and they say it's instantaneous, but it really takes about 30 minutes, but it's better than having to plug in cables and all. But you don't have to think about it once you set it. It's kind of like you set it and forget it.
It's almost like an auto feature.
Yeah.
Well, it really is.
MobileMe also has a photo gallery similar to Flickr. We did an episode on it, except it's a little less social because it's kind of like your own personal gallery. It's kind of a cool idea for professional photographers or maybe something like that. But
it's basically kind of like a place where you can access all your photos when you want them, but it's not as public as Flickr.
Yeah, and iDisk, which is it's a different way of storing your data. You can hook it up and put it back up onto your iDisk. It's only 20 gigs. So it's not that much space, but I mean, maybe you can get some good use out of it. MobileMe is kind of two separate services. There's the enterprise-like pseudo synchronization, and then there's the stuff they inherited from .Mac, which is like the personal, put yourself online, the photos, the websites, the storage. So it's kind of like two things that they pushed into one under one roof. And they call it MobileMe.
Some of the downfalls is the fact that it's a bit pricey for the features you can get, because you can actually get similar features through things like Gmail for free.
And actually, I wrote a blog at gdovin.net/freeme, which is a whole article where I basically go feature by feature and give you free ways of getting those services. So you might want to check that article out. I also did a blog, gdovin.net/MobileMe, about MobileMe as well.
Just for a reminder, it's $100 a year for an individual, and $150 for up to 4 users. It does have great features like the 20 gigs of storage, the calendar, the synchronization, as well as webmail. But you have to think about if the money is really worth it for what you get.
So maybe you don't want to pay $100 a year, and you can just read an article Gdovin.net/freeme, where you can basically piece together different services, even though almost the majority of them are from Google, but some of them are from third parties as well. But you can kind of piece it together and you can get the same features, they just won't be all under one web interface. But it might be more worth your money to do that than paying for MobileMe.
It's really a question of convenience versus price.
Yeah. And actually everything I listed is free. So I'm Mike Gdovin.
I'm Jordan Berman.
To watch this episode again or to watch any of our prior episodes, you can visit our website 911.tecker.net, Tecker. And on the website we have our prior episodes, as well as you can view them directly on the website, or you can download them in WMV for Windows, iPod or QuickTime format for your iPod, or if you have iTunes installed, an MP3 audio-only version of the show, and a WMV HD version of the show, which you can download via BitTorrent that looks really, really clear and in pristine HD quality. And instructions for downloading via BitTorrent are also on the site. On the right-hand side, we have more information about us and about each of the members of the show, as well as quick links to all of our prior episodes and links to the RSS feeds for each of the formats that we release the show in, and links to subscribe to the show in iTunes if you have an iPod, an Apple TV, an iPhone, any Apple device. You can click on that link in either video or audio format. You can also in iTunes search for Tecker, Tecker, in the iTunes store, and then you can find our podcast that you can subscribe to free. Also, if you do not have an iPod, if you have like a generic MP3 player, then you can use you can still listen to our show if on our website you subscribe to this MP3 audio version in a feed catcher, in a podcatcher like Juice. You can search for Juice on Google, download that program, and then it'll load the shows automatically onto your generic MP3 playing device. If you have any questions about the show or about technology, you can send us an email at 911@tecker.net, or you can leave us a voicemail at 610-572-2847. Thank you so much for watching Tecker 911.